Well, my loves, got some fabulous news for some of you ladies. I'm sure you're going to be queuing up round the block to get your hands on a pair of these. Prince Harry's used undercrackers are going up for auction, if reports are to be believed. So you can buy a pair of Harry's pants. And I always get quizzed on this by Americans. In the kingdom, we call underwear pants. And what you call pants, we call trousers. So pants are the underwear. And that's apparently what he gifted one of the associates that he mingled with in Las Vegas 10 years ago. It's the 10-year anniversary of that fateful trip where the rest of the world had to endure the vision of that puny pasty frame over our breakfast on one of the following mornings, because they captured him, didn't they, and without his scanties, running around clutching the crown jewels. Ooh, that image is etched into my memory. It burns, it burns. Horrible vision it was. Nothing like Big Willie, is he? Nothing like Big Willie. Just a boy, and like a boy, and I've got to say, this is all allegedly, this is what we're being told by this, well, they're calling her a stripper or an adult entertainer, Carrie Royale. Carrie Royale, she calls herself, a filmmaker, a film producer, don't know what kind of films, and internationally known through her association with Prince Harry. Bless her heart. But, so this is all allegedly from her. I don't know if they belong to him, but apparently these used undercrackers are going up for auction. And you only need, what is it? $1 million. They're expecting $1 million. We'll see about that, won't we, my loves? Apparently starting bids go in at $10,000. Starts on Thursday, so get ready, get steady. She says, I'm holding this auction to remind him of his fun side, the side that his wife Meghan has tried to control. So, doesn't seem like she's a very big fan of Meghan. We're told that all Americans love Meghan. Well, some might, some don't. And Carrie Royale doesn't sound like a great fan of hers. Oh, and apparently, if bidding reaches $800,000, this is so bizarre, the winner also gets a 1996 bottle of Dom Perignon wrapped in 24-karat gold. What are you going to do with that? You know, we were talking about new money versus old money the other day, weren't we, my dears? And this is the kind of difference between the two of them. I mean, who wants some vintage, if you're going to call 1996 vintage, who wants some vintage bottle of plonk wrapped in 24-karat gold? What are you going to do with that gold except for melt it down again, I ask you? And that bottle itself is valued at $200,000. So maybe they're just using that bottle of plonk to try and get some bids in. And part of the proceeds are going to go to Archewell. So maybe that'll inspire Meghan to put a bid in herself. It's being held at Larry Flint's Hustler Club. Sounds like a fun joint, doesn't it, my dears? Should we go along and have a cocktail or two and see what's what? But let's not buy those pants. Who on earth would want those soiled, grotty old undercrackers? Seriously. I mean, you've got to have some serious problems if that's your thing, if that's your fetish, my dears. And if they haven't been washed, then I would imagine that there's stains in them. It's lucky that they're black. It's lucky that they're the colour black, because I wouldn't want to know. No, my mind's just not going to go there. But who's going to buy them? Planet Hollywood? The mind boggles, but we shall see, won't we? A question from Tanya Griffith. Hi River, have you seen the white outfit that Wallis Simpson wore in 1951? Meghan's white Dior Commonwealth outfit is a direct copy. Interesting. I thought it was worth reading your question because quite a few quarters have pointed this out, this similarity between the Duchess of Not Muchness and the Duchess of Windsor. And so I thought it was worth looking over because it really is rather uncanny, isn't it? Both American, both divorcees, both said to have husbands who are rather on the lily-livered side. But seriously, when you put these images together side by side, you really think, well, if it wasn't Meghan concocting this facsimile, Was it the designer? I mean, it feels like they'd be hard-pressed to have conjured up such a garment without finding inspiration elsewhere. I mean, anything's possible, but you put the outfits side by side and it's absolutely uncanny, isn't it? And you think, is some game being played of some kind? Maybe, maybe not, but it can only make you wonder, doesn't it? I mean, look at the two together. The only major difference being the lack of a hat there with Wallis, but she wasn't at a formal occasion. I believe she was actually at her villa in Biarritz when this photograph in 1951 was taken. And Meghan is wearing Armani. Wallis is wearing a collaboration between Givenchy and Balenciaga. They're eerily alike, aren't they, my loves? Eerily alike. But it's the collar, it's the belt, it's the hemline, it's the gloves. So many glaring similarities, and of course the matching heels. Some of the features have been magnified to match Meghan's frame because Wallis was slim. So some things have been changed for Meghan's frame, such as the collar, although I did say at the time it looked like it was swallowing up her head. I think they overdid it a bit, even for her. But yes, so there were a few differences, but ooh. Last year, of course, comparisons were drawn with Wallis when she did the Oprah interview and she wore that bird shit dress. You know, the one that looked like a whole flock of seagulls or pigeons had flown by and shat all over the woman. Shat all over the woman. That's exactly what it looked like. What was she thinking? I ask you, that bird shit dress. Oh, I don't know. Quite satisfying for us though, wasn't it? Well, apparently it was white lotuses. That's what it was. Loti. That are supposed to symbolise tranquility and spirituality and rebirth. That's what they were going for, but to me it symbolised bird shit. And so I don't know, could be coincidence, could be coincidence. You know, one thing you've got to say about Wallis Simpson is that she was actually chic. She was actually elegant. She was actually a gregarious, convivial hostess and genuinely charming. She had in spades what Meghan can only pretend to have. So, you know, I don't really like putting that comparison out there, but also people have been comparing the faces of the two, saying that, you know, isn't it funny? Two Americans, two divorcees. Meghan appears to hanker after her wardrobe, but also there are so many similarities in the face. Not at first glance, but as many of these newspapers have pointed out in articles, there is, well, both of them have been cruelly mistaken for men, or, you know, there have been false allegations that both of them were born of the male sex. False allegations, but they were made. A lot of it is down to that sort of Swayze-esque jawline that they both possess. And other features, but you can see some of those similarities, and also the severe central parting that they both have in that hairline. I think Meghan's is possibly a few shades whiter than Wallis's hairline part was, but you know, there's still some similarities. I'd love to see Meghan trying out a few of Wallis's hairdos. You know, if she wants to draw some inspiration from Wallis, why doesn't she be really truly fashion forward and original and look at those really, what appears to us in modern day society, really rather ugly hairstyles of that time. I do understand the elegance of the era and the chic sort of look that Wallis was able to capture with those hairdos, but don't tell me that lots of them weren't ugly. But it was a cool kind of ugly that I wouldn't change for $1 million. A little bit like, and this is a different flavour, but in the same way that Prince Anne, you know, I was raving about Princess Anne. I was raving about Princess Anne in a recent video, and someone said, how can you say that, River? You know that she looks absolutely dreadful and the clothes are awful. And in many ways you are totally right, my dear, and I think I've said it myself before, and the wiry hair sort of snatched up in a bun. But the thing is, she accepts herself and she goes with it, and you know, you just wouldn't have her any other way, would you? Sometimes, yes, I agree with you that the clothes are so sort of dreadful and in a way matronly, although they all have a certain standard, and they all, you know, she understands tailoring and cut, and she understands a lot of the rules, but you don't see many people her age these days dressing as she does. Might have been acceptable a few decades ago, but not so much now. She could look a lot more youthful and a lot more with it, but she knows herself. She knows what works for her as a signature style, and she just goes with it. That's what I love, and that's what I love about Wallis Simpson and a lot of her ugliness. She knew, or I'm not going to say she accepted, that she was plain, but she didn't try and gild the lily in a way that Meghan or someone like Meghan might do. You know, she didn't overreach in a way that's unflattering to her. But one thing that did always bug me about Wallis Simpson was her eyebrows, especially in the earlier days. I think towards later in life she got better. I don't know if it's merely inspiration or it could be reincarnation. We could be talking about revenge, not just by Tom Bower, but from Wallis Simpson beyond the grave, my loves, beyond the grave. Reincarnated, recarnadine. And remember that Meghan was transported to her wedding in the same Rolls-Royce Phantom that Wallis Simpson was driven into her dead hubby's funeral, the Duke of Windsor, formerly King Edward VIII. So the parallels continue to mystify us all. Happy birthday, Beatrice! Happy birthday. She was born on the 8th of the 8th, 88. And guess what? It doesn't matter if you use your American format or British format, because it's all the same. 8/8/88. How wonderful is that? 34 years old she is, and we send her many happy returns, don't we, darling Beatrice? What a hard few years she's had. She really has, and I have so much sympathy for her. I really do. Prince Charles, the Duke of Rothesay, has been staying at Castlemaine, of course. Yesterday was at Sunday service at church, where we saw him planting a rowan tree, and I just adore the rowan tree. There's some scattered about London along some of the avenues and paths that make some of my evening strolls really delicious, and I love it when the oranges, like little sparks of fire, come through. Love the rowan tree. I digress. And of course he was in his kilt, looking so cute in those cosy thick socks. Don't you just love the cuteness of those socks? Glorious. And the press were warning Prince Charles to watch out for any blustery gales around the Scottish Highlands, because one stray gust of wind, and there we are, my dear. The crown jewels will be revealed to us all. Well, actually, they've been revealed before, haven't they, my dear, by Paris Match magazine. And I don't suppose they'd look bad on a purple cushion. But yes, one view of the crown jewels was quite enough, Charles, so keep it to yourself this time, my dear, for you and Camilla. Keep them under tartan. Okay, enough nonsense. I just got a couple of trinkets to show you in Tip Jar Corner. Just a small handful of sparkly things to show you, my dears. I know you like me to keep you in the loop with little bits and bobs. And you've probably seen this one that I've had up in the background, a vintage cross. And I've been looking out for crosses lately. You might see a few of them cropping up here and there, because I like them from the spiritual perspective, but also from the fashion perspective. And this is something that I want to wear to an upcoming cocktail party, actually, because I'm going in all black, and it has a rather 90s vibe and 90s feel to what I'm wearing, with the plunging neckline as well, a little bit like this one. And I wanted to find a cross in a kind of Madonna style, but not quite so 80s, more of a 90s twist, and maybe even a bit of a goth twist to it. And so I wanted it to have some shine to it, but not be all silver. And this was really nice, with brown gems and sort of watery yellow ones in it. It was just right. I really liked the look. This was a really lovely find, but I purchased it online, and even though they gave the measurements of what it is, which is a vintage watch from the 1920s, I really didn't realise how tiny it was going to be. It's really, really, really small, and it doesn't really suit me, but I really think that it would look much, much better on a petite frame, and I'm tall, especially when I'm in heels, so I might gift this to a beloved friend of mine who is on the diminutive side, shall we say. But it is really lovely. You know, it's 100 years old. It's got the original leather strap, which is in great condition, still supple, and those sort of diamond paste. They call it paste, don't they? Because these are not the real thing, I'm afraid, my dears, but that sort of paste frame, sparkly frame with a tiny little clock there. And it's so tiny that I have to squint to read it, even when I'm wearing my glasses, so it's not very practical either. But it is ever so cute, and it's in good condition, so it might make a really charming gift. I was really delighted with this necklace, really delighted, because I love the profusion of colours, these pastel colours and shapes and sizes. This was from a charity shop, £4, Cancer Research it was from. And isn't the variety just lovely? Purple sequins, pink gemmies on a strong chain, and I like the sort of random scattered design of it. So I'm looking forward to wearing that one. I think it's really delicious. I love those kind of candy gem colours. Beautiful. I know I've worn this already recently, this ring in the shape of a butterfly, but I can't remember if I showed you it in a tip jar corner. I can never remember. It's terrible, isn't it, my loves? But really cute butterfly there that you just slide onto one finger and it looks like it's sitting on your hand. And aren't the colours absolutely glorious? Real sort of peacock confection of blues, a lovely turquoise with purples and yellows and all kinds of shimmery delights there. A kaleidoscope with green antennae. This one was really rather odd, but I had to have it because it was only £2 from the charity shop. And you do find some odd, peculiar things, I've got to say, you really do. But I rather liked the coral look of it, with milky, pearlescent facets there, over a gold rope with little loopy rings. I rather like the retro vibe of it, and it's whimsical, and I'll find something to pair it with, don't you worry about that. And these are the clip-on earrings that I wore recently, and one kept dropping off. Thank you for your advice on how to fix the loose side. I don't know if I've got the patience to go to those pains to fix them for me, but we'll see. Because I donate everything back to the charity shops anyway when I'm done with them. But I'll probably hang on to these for a while longer, because I really like the unusual design. They're rather strange, aren't they, with these rectangular chunks at the top and then sharp triangles at the bottom. Actually, I remember I got these ones from Secondhand Susie, didn't I? Silky scarves always come in handy, don't they, my dears? These are only £1 each from the vintage fair. Glorious. I think I've already worn them in videos for you. But I love the retro glamour of these silks, and a bright yellow one here. You know, these kind of things always come in handy, don't they? I was so thrilled with this mirror, which was only £10. It was such a lovely find. I snapped it up. I love the prickly look of the leaves that surround it. It looks very romantic in the evening with the reflection of a candle in it, for example, and it's in wonderful condition. And you'll see it popping up quite a lot in the background for decoration, because I really love it. The other thing I really loved, and I don't think I got a chance to show you, was this. And I feel so sad. It was a beautiful cup. I might have had it on the side in one of my videos. I can't remember, but I particularly loved it because it was very autumnal. And can you see the saucer has all these lovely berries on it and red currants. The colours were divine. Apples and plums. Well, I was thundering around the kitchen this morning and that smashed to smithereens. And yes, I know that I could spend ages super gluing it all back together, my dear, but I'm afraid that's not my style. Once it's gone, it's gone. I mean, it was only a cheap little thing, only a few quid, but I really liked it. And the other one that I smashed, this was only yesterday, 2 days in a row, I'm going around smashing things like a Greek wedding. I'd had this one on the side in a few videos as well. This is the saucer in these gorgeous jolly blue and white, and it had a little matching espresso size cup with it. There was actually a candle in it that you might have seen in a few videos. Well, that went for a Burton too and got smashed. So I don't know. I must be emitting some sort of strange energy this week. Who knows, my dears? Who knows? But I thank you kindly for joining me in the broadcast, and please leave me a juicy comment. And thank you in particular to those of you who sent me a tip. so that I can buy these little trinkets for you and decorate the set and bring you lots of fabulous cozies along the way. And I look forward to catching up with you in the next broadcast, my dears. So enjoy the day. See you soon.